Hello and welcome back to Shame Over. I am so glad you're here. And today I'm going to talk about something kind of controversial, and it is drinking is not the problem. It's the solution. I want you to hear me out. Okay, so if drinking isn't the problem and we think of it more as the solution, yes, there's so many different things that are going to come out from there. And I'm not saying alcohol is the right solution. Please, 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 please do not hear that. But it is the one we reach for in the moment because it works pretty much every single time in the moment. It quiets the noise, it softens the edge, it gives us what we think we need until it doesn't. Is this resonating? Hopefully, you're saying, yes, me too. I feel you. I get it. Because that is what we are going to be diving into today and really talk about the truth behind why smart, sensitive women like you and me, why we drink more than we want to, and why beating ourselves up just is not helping. So if you have ever said, why can't I just stop? This one's for you. Let's go. Okay, so with that, we have so much good stuff to really talk about today. And as we're going through this, as you're reaching for the drink next time, just remind yourself drinking isn't the problem, it's the solution. And we all know that it is not the right one. So I really want us to discuss the layers behind our drinking habits. We're going to peel those back. And that deals with a lot of the emotional, the cultural, the personal things that have led to our drinking habits. And the real issue is not alcohol itself. We have made it to be that, but it is not alcohol itself. So, how many times have you said, God, if I just had more willpower, or oh, I always overdo it, I must be the problem? I know I myself have blamed alcohol for everything. I know from doing this for years how much my clients want to blame alcohol for everything. And again, I am not saying alcohol is not a problem by any means. What I'm saying is it has become the solution. And it's because everything that we're dealing with, we're keeping it very surface level. So we're missing the deeper why. In culture, in society, drinking is so normalized, as we know. Not only do we use it when things are good, like, yeah, let's celebrate. We use it when things are bad. You had a bad day, you had a breakup, you're mourning a loss, I'll bring the wine. So not only do we have this association, we drink when we're happy, we drink when we're sad, we drink when we're bored, we drink to feel something, we drink not to feel something. But this shame spiral that follows is so ingrained in us as well, especially women who are deeply sensitive, who are deeply feeling. This is going to hit you harder. And I can speak from experience because it hits me harder. It is the constant, what's wrong with me? Uh, I'm weak. I don't have the willpower. I don't have the strength. Why is this so hard? Why can't I be stronger? Why am I stupid? Why do I know that this isn't good for me and I keep going to it? All of this is going on behind the scenes, or we know what's going on. We're just not able to really stop and take a minute and understand it for what it is. And that's where we need to understand what we're thinking, whether it's conscious or not, so that we can reframe it and realize that we've made drinking the solution. It is not the problem. The problem is I've had a bad day. I want to drink. The problem is I don't know how to feel these emotions. The problem is I'm uncomfortable. The problem is I'm stressed. The problem is I want to celebrate and I don't know how to without alcohol being a part of it. The problem is I'm on vacation and I've never done vacation without drinking. So that is, see, these are all the problems. Alcohol has become the solution to that problem. It is not the problem. It is the solution that we are finding for every problem, if you want to call it a problem, whatever, that we are facing. And that is why, again, not only that it's become so habitual, but it works every time. And our body and brain are miraculous things that are going to conserve energy and do what is easiest every single time. Unless we make the conscious effort saying, nope, I consciously am not going to do that. I'm going to make it harder on myself. Our body and our brain are going to push us towards what is going to be easier, what is going to create the least amount of friction in the moment. Our body and brain isn't worried about what's happening tomorrow. It doesn't know if we're going to be there tomorrow. It knows that we're here right now and it wants that easy, quick fix. Alcohol has been that easy, quick fix every single time. What is that? That is the solution. So we know that every time we reach for a drink, it's not random. We're doing it because it works, and it pretty much works every time. But we also know that it is a temporary fix. Many times of which that, the first 30 minutes, the first hour, 2 hours that we're going for, that's all we want. We're trying to keep that going, so we prolong it, which leads us to feel like shit the next day, to having the shame, the anxiety, all of those feelings. That's not what we originally wanted. What we wanted is what we keep going back for. We don't want to keep going back to all those negative things. We want that good moment of feeling the buzz or helping us not feel things. And again, alcohol works pretty much every time, but it is that temporary fix. So as you're listening to this, maybe you take a minute to journal after or put some thoughts together. I want you to think what problems that alcohol is solving for you. I know for me and other HSPs, highly sensitive, deeply feeling people, women in particular, talking to you, the emotional overwhelm is no joke, especially if you have children, if you have a touchy husband or a partner, young children, in my case. Not only are there so many big emotions going on all the time, you're physically being touched constantly throughout the day. We only have so much bandwidth and we run out of that very quickly. And no matter how much we're trying to fill our cup, we're not going to be able to fill it enough to keep up with that's constantly going on, right? So what does alcohol do? It helps us to desensitize from that. We're able to take a break, to not feel, to avoid feeling those moments for a second. Another one, social anxiety. I'm a very outgoing person. I still, of course, feel more comfortable in a social situation when I've had a drink or when I have a drink in my hand. That is because it was trained into me. I trained myself to think that way, to feel that way, to have more confidence because of this lovely accessory in my hand. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with what it's trained me to do and how it's trained me to believe about myself and about these situations. Exhaustion and burnout, that kind of goes into the emotional overwhelm, but that it's a step further than that. With the exhaustion, with the burnout, I hear so often, I see this with myself, but especially with my clients that are moms. The drink at the end of the day is literally, it's basically become their favorite thing, the thing that they look forward to the most. And of course, we don't want to say that out loud, but we're feeling it deep inside. And that is because we have not taken time for ourselves throughout the day. So we are so depleted by the end of the day that it is the only thing that we found that works. So again, if you're feeling this, you're not alone. Loneliness and disconnection. We drink because we are bored, we drink emotionally, but almost every time that we reach for that drink, we are looking for connection of some sort. We're looking for connecting with a friend, with connecting with our partner, with our kids, with even ourselves. But what are we looking for? We're finding it in the drink. So again, it's not the problem, it is the solution. We now have a friend. We now feel like we're connecting, or it's numbing that part that feels that need to connect. A lot of times we don't even know that we're needing connection, but that's what it is serving. And that's where having this awareness and understanding is going to be so unbelievably powerful for you. Another one I constantly hear is the need to shut off. And on the flip side, to feel in control. And this to me is just so ironic because I was the same to, drink to feel in control. But it's a very slippery slope. And we know you're here because you likely have not been able to maintain that control, at least not consistently. And that's where you are never going to find control of anything, especially based on the world today, just how polarizing everything is. I don't care what side of the fence you're on, but it is so polarizing. We do not feel like we have control over anything. There's so much going on. We don't. We literally are becoming more and more aware of how little control we have over things. So what do we want to do? We want to drink. Because again, the problem, we don't feel in control. The solution, this will make me feel better. So as you're going through your day, start asking yourselves these questions and get curious about it because the drink is not random. It's functional. It has become an incredibly powerful coping mechanism that really works every time, but it is solving the wrong problem, and we're solving that problem with the wrong tool. So as we're getting this awareness as to why we're drinking and that drinking isn't actually the problem, this is where reframing is so crucial to this whole process. Because if drinking is the solution, if we were to take that approach, what the problem is, what it really comes down to, is lack of coping tools. We don't know how to feel the emotions we're feeling. I know for me, I'm great at labeling my emotions. I can tell you exactly what I'm feeling, but how to feel them, that's completely different. And I'm so hyper aware of that as I'm trying to teach young children to label their emotions, but then also feel them. It's hard for me to go that next step because I am learning as I go with them. That also leads into suppressed emotions. When we know what we feel, whether we know it or not, but we don't actually feel it, they're still in there. They are begging to get out. They're going to come out sometime, but they're still in there. I know for me, one of the reasons why I loved getting to a certain point of drinking was I got super emotional. I mean, I was definitely like the drunk dialer, and like I'm just a very lovey-dovey person, but it allowed me to get to a place to get emotions out that I wasn't able to do on my own because I was taught how to suppress those my whole life. And I know that that was not my parents' intention, but that's what they learned, and that's what their parents learned, and that's what their parents learned. So, when you know better, you do better. But just because we know better, we're here because we're trying to do better. And that is stop suppressing the emotions. And that is so incredibly hard. And for me, I'm almost 40 years of experience of suppressing the emotions. I understand how complicated and horrible it feels and how much is in there. So if you're in the same boat, if you're older than I am, I'm in this with you. I know. Another thing that we run into is not having safe outlets or feeling that support. And again, that is where the connection comes in. I was on a call earlier this week and someone was literally saying that, they drink X amount every night and that's when they call people so that they can catch up. But they didn't even realize that they're saying it. They need connection with someone, but for them to get to that connection, they need to be drinking. And so that's where you have to separate the two. If you don't have that safe outlet, do what you can to find safe outlets, to find support, whether it's a support group or a friend that's going through what you're going through, or it doesn't even have to be the same thing. It's just being able to count on someone else outside of yourself. I use a tool called Marco Polo that it's the only app that I will ever recommend that's somewhat social based, because the whole purpose is to connect with people and it's not based on likes or shares or comments or anything along those lines. It's truly just connection. And I use it for my coaching so that we have not only a safe outlet, but that you can get support whenever you need it. So with this reframe, again, having safe outlets and finding support. Another thing that we really, really find with drinking being the solution, not the problem, is this huge misalignment with values. Because I've worked with a lot of people that have come from AA that are ready to moderate again, and like there's so much conditioning that has been done, regardless of how much time that they were in AA, that they have to undo that. That's misalignment with the values. Um, all of us are here because drinking has at one time or another been problematic, or we want to ensure it never does because it doesn't align with our values. So we have this drinking's the solution, but it doesn't align with who I am, with what I believe, with what I know is true and right. So that, hashtag, it's complicated for your relationship status completely. So this is where we have to talk to ourselves as much as we can to see how we're talking to ourselves, because whatever our brain believes, our brain believes whatever we tell it to. So actually hearing what you're saying to yourself is crucial. And I want to emphasize this is where compassion has to trump criticism every single time. We are our biggest critics typically, for the most part. Yes, there's some of the population that is not, but for the most part, we are our biggest critics, especially if you are on the HSP spectrum like I am. You are beating up enough on yourself as you're going through this. So when you start telling yourself, I need to stop drinking, or why am I using this drink to fix everything, and just starting to beat everything up, beat ourselves up with it, focus on the why. So instead of I need to stop doing this or I should, focus on why. Why am I doing this? And then dig deeper. I don't know what it's called, but there's like the five whys essentially, but they use it a lot in therapy, and so many psychologists are behind it. But anyway, it is getting to why at least 5 times. And if you haven't got to it there, then keep digging. But ask yourself a question at least 5 times. So instead of I need to stop drinking, you can ask yourself, why am I drinking? Or what is this drink? What am I searching for in this drink? What do I need in the moment? I'll give you an example. So instead of I need to stop drinking, why am I using this drink? I'm using this drink because I had a bad day. Okay, but why? Why are you using this drink? Because I don't want to feel. Why don't you want to feel? Because these emotions are scary and bring up a lot in me. Okay, why? Because I don't know how to deal with them. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to feel this. Okay, but why? Because when I was little, I was never taught how to. So now all of this is coming up. So do you see how we went from I had a bad day, I want to have a drink, to I don't know how to handle these emotions inside of me, and I taught myself that this drink will make my bad day better. Like, yes, and you can't always do that. I understand, but these are just things, especially in the moment when you're able to, but just as importantly, out of the moment when you're able to reflect, this is really going to help you dig in. And again, just ask yourself why 5 times. I like to say, be your inner toddler, but why? But why? And just keep digging. And as you're doing this, you have to remain neutral and as judge free as possible, because that's going to come in. But at the end of the day, it's just really understanding who you are. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And again, you can't change anything you're unaware of. So having this understanding and awareness is only going to not only help you to know yourself better, which will help you love and accept yourself more, but it will help you get to the root of why you're doing what you're doing and find better ways for you to manage, cope, deal, any of the above. Another thing I definitely see a lot, I actually had this come up today, was thinking of ourselves being defined by drinking. So a lot of times we think we're a bad person because we're drinking too much. that that has been a part of us. Absolutely. It has made us who we are. And I want you to say you're here because you want to do better, you want to be better. And that is amazing. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have that hope or desire to grow, to evolve, to do more, to leave a better legacy for your kids. This is very much where it was for me because I know I'm not a bad person, but I didn't like where I was headed if I continued on the trajectory that I was at. So, as I really dug in and started understanding myself, was when I was able to really figure this out and transform my drinking. But I realized, one, this didn't define me and who I was, but at the end of the day, I was just a sensitive person, which, yes, I'd been told, like, you're so sensitive, you're emotional, you're whatever. But when you are actually a highly sensitive, deeply feeling person, it does not mean you're just crying all the time or you're super insecure. That is not it at all. So I want you to please hear that. If you are on that spectrum, if you've been told you're sensitive or anything along those lines, please look into HSP. I'm going to be doing a lot more on it in future episodes. But I realized for me, I was just so overwhelmed and overstimulated, and I didn't know how to self-soothe, right? Because my self-soothing for so long had been, let's just have a drink at the end of the night. Like, it's not like I was getting hammered every night or anything along those lines, but just that little thing to take the edge off became my main source of self-soothing. So anytime I needed to soothe, what do you think was the first thing that my body and brain told me? This is the easiest thing you can do. It's a temporary fix, but it works every time. Go do that. And that's probably you, and that's why you are here. So, what I want you to do moving forward, I like if you want to call it homework, you can. Otherwise, you can just call it practice. But what I want you to start practicing before any drink that you have is, what am I feeling? Or why do I want this drink? What will this drink solve for me? Or what do I want out of this drink? Because most of the time we're like, well, I just want to drink. But when we start asking ourselves these questions, it's going to make a huge difference. Other things, and see other episodes I've done for your PS list and things along those lines, but I always recommend people come up with their PS, which is everything that brings you pleasure, everything that helps reduce stress. And if you do something on that list first, you are going to be amazed how quickly you start to rewire your brain. I'm not saying you don't drink at all, but I'm saying when you ask yourself, what am I feeling? Start having this conversation. And then you go into, okay, I'm feeling stressed. What works for me? Taking some breath work or dancing to my favorite song works, or do that first. You're going to start connecting self-soothing, feeling better, stress relief, pleasure with those things and not with alcohol. So simple things that you can do. I had already mentioned some breath work, meditation, mindfulness, connection. We so often are hoping to find connection with that bottle of wine or whatever it is you might be drinking. Instead, text a friend, get someone on the phone if you can. Like I mentioned, my program, we talk via Marco Polo so you can get access to support whenever you need. The other thing I love about Marco Polo is just checking in. I cannot believe how often people say, wow, I felt way better. Like after I checked in yesterday, I didn't even feel like I needed to drink because you got it out. We're suppressing so much. We're trying to avoid feeling that it's all bottled up. Of course, alcohol is the only thing that helps in that moment. When we can talk about it, when we can express ourselves, and we can get it out, just sometimes saying it out loud is all we need to feel better. And it dissipates that need or desire to find whatever you're searching for in the drink. And again, this is all subconscious. Our body and brain just knows this is an easy fix. It works every time. That's why I'm going to recommend you do that. Another thing, rest. Sometimes we are just freaking tired. So maybe you just take a nap or lay down for a few minutes. I don't care if you have kids. If they're safe, give them the tablet. I don't care. You're never going to get judgment from me on that note. Take a break, go in the bath, and get a few minutes to yourself. Showers are my go-to. I am not able to do the bath anymore, but showers are like my moment. I also recently got this like eye mask. It looks almost like ski goggles, but it has heat and massage. I'm doing it every night before bed, and my sleep has been unbelievably better. So things like this, like sometimes just taking a moment, taking a break. Another thing, get emotional validation. Journaling is a great way to do this. I know a lot of us are like, I really need to start journaling, and we don't. Here's your sign, start journaling. Voice memos, texts, you can text yourself, WhatsApp yourself, whatever. I have this huge long text chain to myself for things I don't want to remember or just things I need to get out. If you have an iPhone, there is a free journal app that they put on everyone's phone during an update a while back. And it's actually a really great app, and it has to use, you could probably get out of it if you want, but it has the protective, like use your face or a password to be able to get into it. So that's a great safe space if you just need to get some feelings or emotions out where no one needs to see it but you. Because I know sometimes we don't want to write things down in case someone sees it, right? So that is a great thing for a great place, or just crying it out. If you need to go in your garage or again in the shower, in your car and just scream or scream into a pillow or hit a pillow or have a pillow fight with your bed, like I don't care. But sometimes just getting that energy out is all you really need. And as you're going through this, the progress is going to be slow. If there was a magic button, I believe me, none of us would be here if there was. We know that. But as you're going through this progress, there's going to be highs and lows, there's going to be ups and downs, you're going to take some steps backwards. The biggest thing is focusing on curiosity and not perfection. One, perfection does not exist, but when you get curious, you're able to approach it more neutral, less judgment is there, therefore you're not having all the emotions, the shame, the anything around it, and you're able to get a lot deeper in your understanding because you're being curious. So low and slow, get curious. It's going to be super helpful. So those are really the main things. If you can remember in the moment before you have a drink, drinking's not a problem. It's a solution. That is a way to get you present, to make you question, why am I having this drink? If this is the solution, what is the problem that I'm avoiding or that I don't want to deal with? We know that it's the easiest solution, the best solution so far, but we also know that there are far better ones that are much more in line with who we want to be, who we are trying to become, and the values that we hold near and dear to us. So come up with your list. Again, focus on just taking that moment before you have the sip to either do something on your PS, meditation, breath work, connection, getting some rest, getting some emotional validation. And besides that, just reach out to someone. Even if you send me a DM, if I don't apologize right away, if I don't respond right away, I apologize. I hate social media, I'll be the first to admit, so I'm not great on there, but reach out, maybe email's best. There you go. hello@shameover.me. Reach out. Sometimes, again, just getting it out is really what you need to feel better. Is it going to make all your problems go away? No. But is it going to help way more than that drink does? It will, especially with practice. The more you practice, the better you're going to get, the easier it's going to become. And that's how habits work. That is why drinking has become so effective. You've done it so many times that it's just so easy now. So I will be coming up with a toolkit for you, so check in soon for that. It'll be on the website or in the show notes. Besides that, if you found this helpful, please share the episode with a friend, like, subscribe, do all the things. That's the only way that I can help more people and more people can find out about this. Because my biggest thing is, one, Sobriety is not for everyone, just like moderation is not for everyone. And I don't want anyone to feel shame, whether they drink or not, whether they don't drink. There should be no shame in anyone's game, right? So my whole thing is if I can help you to drink less, to have that harm reduction, you are going to have a better relationship with yourself, with alcohol, and that is going to impact not only you and your life, but generations to come. So with that, thank you so much again for listening. And if you have any ideas on what you want me to unpack next, please feel free to share that as well. But hopefully, we will see you again soon, and cheers to you.